Hello, fellow family adventurers. We're absolutely thrilled to have a chat today with Rachel Carlson, the innovative founder and director of the World School Pop-Up Hub. She's a connector, and she is here today to talk to us about the Pop-Up Hub, her travels and adventures. So, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me, David. This is great to connect again. I'll just let people know that we first met about a year and a half ago in Merida. And then we saw each other again in San Miguel de Allende, and then again for another pop-up in Mexico City. So I love how these work. Like we meet people, and then once they're in our friend circle, it's easy to find them again when we're at the same area.
It is. It's so cool to just keep popping up again and back into everybody's lives over and over again.
Right. Yeah, it's been great.
So So yeah, that's one of the coolest parts about that I found, at least with traveling and everything. For those people that aren't familiar with you at all, I know I just gave a introduction. Can you give people a little bit about who you are? What do you do?
Okay, sure. Let's back way up. I met my husband in 1994. I was probably 2 years old then. No, so I was 18. We met at university. We started traveling together really early on and realized that we loved it. We got married after 5 years of hanging out together. And then we had kids another 5 years after that. So we had 10 full years together before we added children to the mix and did lots of travel during that time, rearranged our work schedules so we could have project based commitments. And then after that, we would go travel for an extended period and then do that over and over. And so when we had children, people said, "Oh, how great for you guys. Now you can settle down." And we're like, "Wait, what? Why would we do that?" So there was no reason that we wanted to settle down. We loved traveling. We wanted our kids to love traveling. So they all had passports as infants. They were all babies on their first trips. And we were still living a traditional lifestyle. My husband had a desk job. My kids were in public school. I was a stay-at-home mom, and we were happy. We were super happy, but we were not content. Like we had a great community and everything else, but felt like something was missing. Felt like we weren't quite with our people or doing what we wanted to do with our lives. So we sold our house. This is in 2014 now. And we had no plan. We didn't know what we were going to do. We moved into a friend's basement. She said, "You can hang out here as long as you need to." We were known as the basement people for a couple months. And then one day my husband said, "We could just move to Hawaii." I was like, "Oh, we could move to Hawaii." So we did. And like in a 2 week turnaround, we had everything ready to go, got the kids enrolled in school there, and went and lived on the beautiful island of Kauai for 2 years. And after that, we kind of got squeezed out of housing, which happens, and came back to the continental US. We picked up our van in LA and we drove all the way across the US looking at like, oh, could we live here? How about Taos? How about Scottsdale? How about like we just hit all these places across the US and got all the way to South Carolina and nothing had connected yet and found Hilton Head, South Carolina. And we said either we turn south and head to Florida because we're out of US this direction, or we find something here. And we did. We found a great condo, jumped into the community there for 2 years, put the kids in public school. And so at the end of this is 4 years now that we're living in fully furnished rentals because we'd sold everything off. My husband brilliantly says, we're working online. At this point, both of us were working online. And we could work anywhere that we have an internet signal. I'm like, "Are you kidding me? How did we not think about this 5 years ago when we sold the house?" And so we wrapped up the school year with the kids, pulled them out. All we needed to do was add in the homeschooling piece, which I'm a former educator. I'd read a lot about unschooling. I said, let's just do a year of unschooling and see how it works. And it was perfect for us. And our kids, let's see, at that point, the oldest was 13. We're beginning our 6th year of full-time travel. And this probably segues into the pop-up hub is we're spending so much time together, which is great, right? Like we only get so many years with our children. And I really encourage people to take time to be with their family, get to know your kids. And as I was getting to know my kids on a 24/7 basis, we realized traveling is super cool, but you don't always meet people. And especially you throw COVID into the mix. And then it was very hard, even coming out of COVID, to meet people. People were still distancing or in their social bubbles. And I said, well, there's got to be other folks like us around who are just ready to travel more, ready to meet up with people who understand that I don't need to explain, like, no, my kids don't go to school. No, I don't have a house. Yes, my mail goes to someone else's house, blah, blah, blah. Like these people don't even care that unless they're actually interested. Like, oh, how did you set up your mail? I'm having trouble with my meal service. So it's a completely different conversation when you're talking with other traveling families. So we ran an event just out of the blue. I said, hey, we're going to be here for a week. If anyone wants to come and join us, come along. So 8 families showed up. Within the first day, the kids are like, oh, yeah, we got to do this again. And so we ran one more later that summer. And again, it was a hit. We're like, okay, this is a business. And again, not like a business where we're raking in millions and millions of dollars. It's a connection service. Like we want people to find each other. We want to allow other people to host events like this. Bring the world schoolers to you because there's something really special about connecting with people who get you, who understand you and aren't going to judge. They're not going to be, raking you through the coals about, are you educating your kids the right way? Are you ruining their lives? We get all sorts of questions, and it's just nice to have some people on your team that you connect with. So we started the Pop-Up Hub to do that. And that also provided our kids a chance to have socialization as we traveled. So when we were in areas, sometimes it was hard to meet people. We're pretty good about talking with locals and meeting people, but threw a wrench into that. So basically, we knew that we had to put more effort into creating social situations for us and for our kids. And that's kind of how this all began. And now it's amazing. I love connecting families together and seeing them over and over back on Facebook with new families that they've met. And then, oh, we pulled this guy in who we saw 2 years ago somewhere else. And yeah, it's really neat. Okay, so that probably was a lot of background.
That's awesome background though. I mean, and you're so passionate about what you do, about not only the traveling, because you were doing that before the kids, traveling during the kids. So, all these activities, not just for yourselves, for the kids. I mean, that's one of the wonderful things I like about the pop-up hubs. They're not just for kids, they're for us adults too.
Absolutely.